Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Madness Podcast. Once again, another beautiful Wednesday here on the Morning Madness Podcast. And today, boys, we were a little tired and took a little time getting into the studio today. I have heard your guys' excuses, but let me tell you the story of what happened to me over the course of the last 12 hours. Let's begin.
Oh, God.
So as you guys know, I work late nights. I work 9 to 12, right? So naturally, I come home pretty late. I got home, about 12:15, ate my dinner, went to bed. Everything was fine. Suddenly, about 1, 2, 3 a.m., who knows? I don't have my watch on me. It's charging off to the left, so it's not on my wrist. The room starts shaking. And I think, oh, it's fine. It's probably just somebody upstairs running around with their giant fucking feet, like always. And it's all fine and dandy till I start levitating out the window. And, up and up and up. And I'm like, oh, I must be dreaming. This makes total sense. A couple minutes later, fast forward, there's some dudes standing over me. And that's all I remember before I get up to the alarm in the morning at 6:45 to come to podcast. And
what?
Not only do I get out of bed, but I get out of bed tired, exhausted even. And I'm stumbling out to get dressed and everything. And I go to use the bathroom because apparently I did do that really bad. And my stomach's just killing me. And it's weird because I hadn't eaten much the day before. Like I had a quesadilla and some other stuff. Like going about my day, I didn't eat anything to really upset my stomach. And so I'm thinking, it's fine. I'm, morning, is how it is. And so I'm driving to get the coffees today. And everything seems fine. I'm going about it. I'm like, okay, this is really tough. It's nice and cold out, so the heater's on, and it's like the temperature's mixing with my body. And I get the coffee, everything's fine. I get out of the drive-thru, and I'm coming back to the podcast studio, and I just feel my body just suddenly get worse and worse. And I'm like, okay, shit, I need to pull over. So I pull off to the side of the road in this bank parking lot today on the way to the studio, and just vomit my guts out. Like before I even get the door open and my mask off, I didn't wear my mask into the building today because I didn't manage to get the mask off in time before it just started, and it's just purple everywhere.
What?
Purplish, bluish everywhere. Like I wiped most of it off my pant leg before I came to the studio. I had to clean myself up because I felt awful, but it was just the most surreal thing ever.
What the fuck?
Purple.
But very, very, very within theme today, ladies and gentlemen, because today we're discussing aliens.
Did you eat anything purple?
I've been drinking a lot of lemonades with blue food dye, so I feel like that might have something to do with it.
Yeah, that might be it.
I've also just been going on a huge food and drink binge since I hit like a super bad sad wave a couple weeks back.
Oh, gotcha.
And so I've just been eating and drinking and stuff like that. So it hasn't been too healthy for me. So that was an awakening. It's like so many lemonades in one day, Mm-hmm. But how are you guys feeling on this fine morning? The alien stuff, the abduction stuff didn't actually happen, but I wanted to theme the way in today.
I was like, wait, hold on, you were floating. Wait, what?
You're surrounded by 4 brolic dudes, and you're like,
Oh my God, bro. No, dude, I don't know. Let me rephrase this. My stomach shit almost constantly, so I'm kind of used to it. But there are some days where it's generally worse, and it's usually worse in 2 ways. One, if I go to Del Taco,
Okay,
sober.
yeah.
The key word is sober at the end of that sentence.
Mm.
Number 2. Actually, yeah, no. Or if I eat a lot of chips and shit, and then I hate cutting weight and shit because chips are the one thing that it's small. It's not anything big, but it's not but it'll satisfy your your taste buds.
And you don't realize just how many calories you're consuming from the chips.
Oh my God, bro! I think I went through probably 3 bags of chips in a single day. I was just I was going through my little wave of stress eating and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I hate those days because just I'm constipated. Yeah. This is a really weird way to start.
It's a really
podcast.
rough start to the podcast, but to be fair, yeah, we all had stomach related issues on the way in.
Yeah. It seems to be in theme.
I felt like you fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, Carlos.
Yeah,
seemed
that
to
was
have
that
made
was
the choice
intentional.
himself.
I made a bad decision.
Why 7.5?
Well, because I thought 0.5
So can
wouldn't be too
someone
bad.
explain this to me as someone who's never
So at
ordered
Cup
from
Up-
Cup
Dude,
Up
you
before?
need to go Buck. You need to
Cup
go
Up is really good. It's a Korean barbecue, and they serve it in this cup, and you have to like shake
That's a
it up
bowl.
and everything. It's like a bowl, yeah. But it's a cup bowl. It's like
It's a cup
Whatever.
bowl.
But whatever it is. But what makes the meal whole is the sauce,
Okay.
and there's different levels of spice.
Yeah, 1 through 10.
1 through 10. 7 is usually like the not moderate, but like the average of what people order. So it's
Really?
not too. Yeah, it's like their most popular one. So it's not too bad. And I've had a 7 every single time I've gone there. Sometimes I go to a 6 if I don't want it to be super rich. So I thought it was on DoorDash, and for some reason they were in increments of 0.5. And I was like, okay, well, 7.5, that doesn't sound too bad. I mean, I've done 7s every single time except one, so might as well. Got it on the porch, bring it back in. I'm watching Skyfall with the buds, and I eat it, and I'm like, this feels a lot richer than like usual. I don't know what this is. So I didn't like completely finish it, and I just kind of put it down. And then towards like the third act of the movie, I'm decimated. I'm in the bathroom. My buddies are
Just
getting
hate your
real
life at that
suspicious. They're like, "What's he doing in the bathroom?" Because I'm not that loud either.
He just saw Daniel Craig and it was like,
too
much Daniel Craig.
I
for
need
one
30
sitting.
minutes to myself real quick.
Because the last time this happened, mind you, last time this happened to me at this house was after watching the Halloween episode of WandaVision.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a track record of being sus using the bathroom because I tend to have a bad stomach at the inopportune moment. But anyways,
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like routine now.
yeah,
I hate having like nausea related issues. It makes things so much more difficult.
it's just like because then you're like going about your day,
And
you're
sometimes
just
it's like the best thing to do, like for those like issues and shit, is just to lay down and just like take a few off. But then like sometimes like you just don't have the time.
That was me today in the car. I was sitting there leaning against my seat. I'm like, oh, I would give the world to just lie down and sleep right now. But I was like, I have to come into the studio today.
Yeah,
This is
I was gonna say honestly, if you would have texted like, "Hey, let's try this another day," I've been like, "All right, that's." So
well, I thought you guys had already gotten here. My thought process was I was coming here at like 7:20.
No,
and I was like,
dude,
shit, everybody should already be here by now.
I was just what's it called on top of my stomach problems yesterday. I still went and trained yesterday for a good like 2 hours and shit. Broke in my new stuff. Yeah, got my shit.
Yes, your beautiful Venom stuff.
Yeah, dude. I got my shit kicked in yesterday, and I'm so glad I did.
very nice.
But yeah, no, bro, like, have you like ever worked out during like a nausea related problem and shit?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's fucking like you're trying your hardest to just not like just be a bitch and just finish the workout, but god damn it, the middle of it, it's just the worst.
I describe it like you're working out around something. You always feel like you're trying to push around a sickness.
Yeah, no, and then like, have you guys ever like? Because I've been in like situations where like my stomach is already like kind of like you know.
Yeah.
And so you'll be at like the gym and like you're doing like some presses and stuff like that. But for some like your like stomach is just like it wants to work out with you all of a sudden.
See, if
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like it's something I can trust my stomach, I'm not gonna bench. There's no way in hell
I
I'm gonna
thought
do
that
a
was
heavy lift
fine.
if my stomach feels bad.
You know? Oh, dude, bro, I feel bad for people who like because I've heard I've heard people do this. Is anyway, what's up? When they have stomach related issues and shit, and they still come to the gym, and where do they go first? The fucking squat rack.
I was just gonna say squats.
That's
Fucking fart city.
You gotta,
Not
you
even-
gotta think to yourself,
bro.
man.
This
It's
is like my deepest fear is going to the gym and then like squatting and then just ripping ass and not even
shitting yourself.
yeah, and just like not even like having to be like small and then like quiet and shit. No, it's gonna be like loud and like smelly and shit because that's my luck. Knock on wood.
Shits aggressively.
we have fun here. on the
But see,
Shit's aggressive.
Sigma males shit aggressively and then walk around with it in their pants. Don't bother to deal with
What? Are we
it. Sigma
toddlers?
grind set.
Oh my god, bro! Only some.
I saw that one of those Sigma grind set videos and it said, shit in the street rejects society's norms.
Well, they shit on the streets in Hong Kong, in China.
That's true.
Like that's like a regular thing over there. Like if people just need to go to the bathroom over there, they just go on the side.
Now, since we're talking about conspiracy theories and aliens today,
Oh.
I feel like that's a good, interesting topic. I do want to bring one conspiracy theory up that is proven to be true now as of last night, but never thought it possible. But for the first time in history, the Dodgers will be playing the Giants in the playoffs.
Wow.
Okay, we
In the
actually
postseason.
generally have to like watch that game now.
This is actually insane.
Dodgers got it
well.
in 7.
I don't know, dude. If Kershaw keeps throwing those, if Kershaw does what Kershaw does, then the Giants.
It's gonna be a hard series
They've got
because
Jeter spirit with
we
them this
don't-
game.
we don't know the Giants. We've literally never
They're
played.
not in the same division.
We've never played.
Oh,
no,
really?
No, we are.
Yeah.
Why are they?
We're
No,
playing
no.
division series right now.
Oh, is it the division?
Yeah.
Are we seeing?
Yeah.
They usually don't do that. That's weird.
Yeah, because the Dodgers were the wild card.
Oh,
It-
that's
it
why.
was Dodgers and Cardinals were fighting for the wild card spot, and
No, because like I mean, in usual spaces, I mean, maybe because I'm used to like the NFL or like the NBA and how they do it. Like, if you're in the same city, like you have to be in a different division. Like if
yeah,
you're like
but
Cal-
the Giants and the A's are in a different division because they're like
in the same city.
yeah. So
Or
and
I
then
guess,
the
like,
Dodgers and the
20 minutes away.
Angels, Padres.
Oh, I forgot there was a lot more baseball teams and shit out
California
there.
has quite a few, but yeah.
Well,
So
California's California.
The Mets, baby.
man.
That
about the
meme-
Dodgers.
That meme is taken
Go
over.
Dodgers!
Dude,
Get
I
a
think-
home run.
I have not seen any memes of that.
Really,
It's-
I
it's-
love it so much.
I mean,
The
I
Mets.
guess like I feel
Go
like
Mets, hit a home run.
then again, like maybe I'm not looking for them, but like they're just not popping up on like my For You page on TikTok
It's
anymore.
not always about the formula, Krabs. It's
Oh, God.
about the Mets, baby. Love the Mets. All right, baby. Let's go. Get a
The
home run,
fucking
baby.
Mets.
Love the Mets.
I feel like the Mets are like the Knicks of baseball.
But they're good though.
Are they?
Yeah, the Mets aren't that bad. They used to be great.
I mean, like yeah,
the Knicks were never good.
But the Mets, baby. Love the Mets. All right, baby. Let's go.
The worst thing about that is that makes sense because they're all from like fucking New York.
Yeah.
Although, like, when, like, this is just me. Like, who's like, oh no, isn't Tony Stark the Yankees fan? Like, that's like maybe confirmed. I don't fucking know.
I don't remember. I know
Do they mention baseball in the MCU?
Peter Parker.
No,
is
but
a
I
Mets
feel-
fan.
But I feel like Tony Stark, like, would be a Yankees fan because your typical Yankees fan.
I think he
is,
would just buy Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, well,
Refuse to elaborate. and
he
then leave.
has to own one of the stadiums in the comics.
Actually, did you guys know in Australia that they have a stadium called the Marvel Stadium?
Interesting.
Really?
It's where Israel Adesanya fought for the UFC middleweight title too.
Nice.
And it's owned by Marvel and whatnot, and they have a whole entire like, it's used for like rugby and soccer. But if you like, before you get into like the
Captain America's favorite team is the Washington Nationals. Iron Man's favorite team is the Los Angeles Dodgers.
huh?
He's
I
a
mean, that makes
Dodgers
sense. He
fan.
lives in Malibu.
I mean,
If Cap was a patriotic guy, then the Dodgers are a perfect team for Tony Stark. He's an overpricey California type of dude. But this is just a fan casting.
Yeah, I was just
Oh
gonna
my
say. Oh yeah, of course Wolverines would be Toronto Blue Jays.
well,
That's just,
yeah,
that's just
it's
stereotyping.
just can't.
The tragic reason Peter Parker's a Mets fan. Okay, so it looks like the Mets
It's
Spider-Man
about
thing
the
is
Mets,
the only
baby.
confirmed
Go Mets. Love the
baseball
Mets. Love the Mets. Hit a home run.
Gotta love it.
team.
Gotta love it.
Spider-Man would be great in baseball. See,
A lot of
Throw
these
some fake
superheroes
balls.
would be very good at whatever fucking sport they decide to do.
throw some fake balls.
Speaking of baseball, real quick. This is a quick diversion, but
Diversion.
are you ready to play some baseball, TJ?
I just want to hit people, bro. Why we gotta prance around? So if you don't know, so our organization is planning to play wiffle ball with another organization here.
Interesting.
And
gonna be great.
It's weird because I used to work for the other organization for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's super weird. And to be quite honest, I'd much rather just like punch people rather than hit a ball. Like let's have a peer. I'm not gonna say their name. Let's have a good sparring session between these two organizations.
Well,
Understandable.
like playing like a friendly game of baseball or softball against another like friendly team is like surprisingly common.
See, here's the problem. We won't be friendly.
Oh yeah, no, I don't plan on being friend. I plan on talking the most shit.
They're not ready. They
I wish we were to play fucking like flag football or something like that.
They
So
haven't
this
gone
is like
against
a
this
Reds
hard.
versus Blues kind of thing, right? So it's like
This is like
the problem
Red
is
Sox
I've seen a
versus,
lot of the
you know.
Reds, and a lot of the Reds don't look like they can hit a baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I can't hit a baseball that well, but like, when I connect, I
I
connect.
don't think the Blues can either. Like I don't know who the Blues are this year. So
There's a lot more people on there now. What's it called? Like,
it's okay. I'll carry. Don't worry.
Yeah, okay.
homie, you said that last time, and guess who had the home one first?
It's not about getting the. It's not about the.
Carlos
money,
gonna show up to the
Spider-Man.
baseball field in a shooting sleeve and everything.
It's about the
Wrist
Mets.
Bro, dude, I might fuck around and go get cleats for God's sake. I want to win,
Oh God, cleats for wiffle ball.
and it's only for one person, and you and I both know that it's not gonna take very much to take him down too. A good swift, a good
You can outrun him. Don't
TJ's
worry
gonna
about
slide
it.
tackle somebody on the enemy.
Oh fuck that! I'm gonna teep someone with some cleats on.
Jeez.
I'm just gonna run up to the home plate, not do anything. As soon as I see the ball coming towards the way, kick the person who's supposed to
I
catch
feel
the
like
ball,
that's
and then
how they-
touch home base.
I feel like that's how they play baseball in Canada. Just like
Huh?
kick as many people as possible, and they're like,
No, that's
"Wait,
Brazil."
stop!"
No, that's how they do it in
I think that's how
like
cricket
Mexico.
games are
It's
played.
just- you know, they just kick each other, and then they're like,
Hey, this
"Stop!
is
¿Por qué?"
a bloody cricket.
I think Quidditch is a sport that we should really get into and investing in.
Quidditch, like
would be
seeing
fun.
those guys play, I'm like,
Not
this-
like I think we need to invest in some real shit. I think we need to get some propulsion tech going. I think Tesla needs to get on this. I think Quidditch would be one of the most popular sports on Earth.
I do think Tesla needs to get on this shit. You all have the tech. Let's be honest, Tesla. You all have the technology. Fucking make it happen.
Think about it. Think about how fucking insane it'd be to watch official Quidditch.
That'd actually be nuts. Because that's
I mean,
basically
it'd be dangerous as fuck. But
that's
I'd
rugby on broomsticks and shit.
I put my hat in the ring. I used to be pretty good at maneuvering on a broom.
Just the way that people play it now, it's like in IRL and
When
shit.
they're
With brooms, like,
IRL
legit
Quidditch is
in
quite
between,
something
and
to
they're
see.
just
It's so
running.
funny.
I'm like, dude, is that not?
It's like 27, 28-year-olds, like all just.
I just want to like ask everyone. I'm like, is having a broom in between like your junk, both men and women, like, is that comfortable for y'all to be having it like there?
I'm
constantly?
sure they find a comfortable resting point.
I don't know if they do because sometimes like they'll touch.
Those like witches.
They'll touch
like,
broomsticks sometimes.
Witches just be riding that shit, and it's like there's no
This
seat
could
or
be riding
anything.
whatever they want, bro. They can stand on the broom.
Exactly. Like it apparently is comfortable.
See,
This
you-
we got magic.
even-
Focus this pizza on your focus.
I was gonna say, like that. What's it called? Just a thought. Like, why don't like instead of just sitting on the broom, just why not witches just like stand on the broom? I feel like that would be
Surf
just,
it.
Yeah, just surf it. That would seem so much more better.
I'm sure male witches would surf the broom.
But,
I feel like that'd be a
just,
thing they'd do just
but,
out
like,
of like
you know.
toxic witch masculinity.
toxic witch masculinity.
That's what started the Salem witch trials.
I thought Christianity. Fuck. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways, hopping over
This
to
is
our
good.
main
Good
topic
transition about
conversation.
witches, because we're gonna go into spooky aliens.
Hell yeah.
Dude, bro. All right.
I need to remember that aliens and ghosts are separate.
Aliens
For some reason, my brain's been on ghost mode for a little bit.
Well, it is October.
Yeah,
so-
well, that's one of the future podcasts or something.
yeah, definitely.
Time.
But no, aliens are a fuck. You know what's like? These past 2 years while we've been in COVID and shit, the government is just like giving us, like, I guess, like confirmation.
Yeah,
but,
I
like,
forget
it's
we're
not
all
like
on
we
board
need it,
now.
though.
I forget we're all on the same page now about aliens, and it's
I've-
like, yeah, they exist. It's like we don't know whether or not they're coming here, but we know they exist.
I know the U.S. has a plan for when that happens. As
Yeah,
far as
we're
how
testing a defense system pretty soon here.
that is gonna be. See, I know. So I feel like a good defense system rather than like offensible capabilities and stuff like that for countries. Like, why not invest in stuff to protect, like, you know?
I have given up on human alien contact. I feel like humans are gonna fuck shit up. We always
Yeah.
immediately default to war. Not even like as a joke for a movie. Like it's genuinely something that happens. I have a feeling that the first aliens we make contact with will get shot at by like not even by like a government official or like a military man. It'll be just a regular dude, and that's gonna fuck things up for the rest of us.
Yeah.
Aliens being confirmed real will change a lot of ideologies we have just about a lot of things in general, including like our advancement of technology and stuff. Because you guys know like the different types of civilizations. Like Earth is not a Type 1 civilization yet. We're a Type
don't know.
0.7 something.
I haven't like delved deep into like that sort of stuff.
So just for like a quick crash course, really quickly. And I'll get in more to like the Fermi paradox and that stuff later when we'll come back around to it, I'm sure. But when we go to explain like thoughts on whether or not aliens are real and stuff like that. But essentially, a Type 1 civilization is a civilization that manages to harness the energy from its own sun or its own planet, I believe. Levels of civilizations. And so by using this thing that we invented way back in the day, this is called the Kardashev scale, by the way. So a Type 1 civilization, which is a planetary civilization, is a planet that is able to use and store all of the energy available on the planet.
Yeah.
So that means like once we fully harness nuclear and like Earth electricity, like geothermal energy, that's Type 1. We're at 0.7 something right now, which means we're close to Type 1. However, there are like 6 or 7 types of civilizations. So Type 2 is a stellar civilization, which is when you learn to control the energy of the planetary system itself. And I'll only go as far as the second level for right now. But essentially, we created this concept called a Dyson sphere, which I don't know if you've seen what it looks like, but it's a giant grid ball. They showed it off in Invader Zim one episode, where you wrap it around the planet's sun, and it'll absorb the heat energy from the sun in order to use that as power for everything else. And once we do that, we're essentially free to travel the universe from that point forward. Like, we're slowly growing more and more as we go from there.
Dude, that's going to take, like, years.
The big issue with, like, the Fermi paradox and all that, however, is as you progress through these levels, the worry is whether or not so like in most progressions of evolution, there's a filter somewhere, right? So the Fermi paradox all rests on where that filter sits in our timeline. If we're ahead of it, like if it's behind us and we've made it, that means we've made it through the filter, which is a good thing, because that means most lives haven't made it that far, right? And human lives would be the exception to that rule, which is why we don't want to discover aliens that are still, we want to discover aliens. If they are, we want them to be less advanced than us. That would imply that the filter's behind us, which means we are advancing onward and will continue to live and succeed. However, if we end up visiting civilizations on planets and their buildings are destroyed and it's ruins and they've all died, and they're more advanced than we are, it implies that the filter's ahead of us and means that we eventually have a dead end to meet. So it's quite an interesting push and pull in terms of, oh, yay, aliens are real versus, oh, no, aliens are real, all depending on really all it comes down to is really, are they more advanced than us?
I mean, does it really matter if they're more advanced than us?
Well, to us, no, because we'll die by the time that the filter gets here. But, for us as a species, that's sad because it means humans will dwindle out eventually. It means all life is doomed to fail. Whereas if the filter's behind us, it means that we have somewhere to go.
Do you think aliens are green?
I think that some aliens somewhere have to be green.
Yeah.
I think there is no reason, and I believe that if any aliens did visit our planet, at least some of them had to be green at some point, because nobody would just pick that color for aliens right off the bat.
I don't know about that. I feel like there's been people who've like said some shit and then it just hasn't, like
green people.
Like, what if they're like, we're never green and shit,
I mean,
it only takes one person to start a rumor like that,
right? But like,
what if aliens like looked just like us but slightly different, like slightly less, not lesser, like either less or more evolved for a different, like, atmosphere?
You increase one chemical in the atmosphere and it'll change so much about them. Like I've told you guys before, I don't know if it was on podcast, but the show Other Planets, the one I told you about, where it's like the Discovery Channel for fake creatures. Yeah, that shit. It's like exactly that. Do you guys think that if aliens did visit, right? Let's get down to the nitty gritty real quick. If the aliens did visit, how long do you think it takes before humans try to copulate with them?
What do you mean copulate?
I
Procreate.
think the first stage would be.
Dude, what? Procreate?
No, that's a valid question.
Humans are gonna start fucking those aliens as soon as they find out.
Yeah, but you have to like think that like, say if these aliens do end up like. First of all, there's probably
this alien civilization definitely has a Todd on board who is willing to go fuck a human. Listen, that is his only reason for going on this mission.
Listen, bro, I don't see anyone doing that without like a large population of aliens first being here first.
Really?
And to be quite honest, like what you said before, like a couple minutes before, like it only takes one person to fuck a lot of things up. It's only going to take one if If that alien decides just to drop anywhere and shit and just happens to land in Detroit or Compton,
Ooh.
He's getting
What if,
He's getting
what
clapped.
if,
He's
what
getting
if the
clapped.
aliens, instead of having a specific conflict with us as people, only specifically target Detroit as a place?
no, dude, if they're gonna target anywhere,
just
you
had a
need to
bad
target Florida.
experience.
Just get it out.
But Detroit
either
would be
Florida
so
or
random.
California.
But like, imagine gang violence against aliens. It's just gangs putting up against aliens, like back and forth.
That's a different.
And then
type
the aliens start learning how to like be culturally
how
accepted.
how to gangbang.
So they just start like, you know, wearing the headband.
Fucking hilarious
Dude,
to watch.
that needs to be a series now. Just
That would
gangs-
be hilarious.
aliens come down, they just let, or what's up? They're supposed to land in Washington, end up in Detroit,
Yeah, I
start
feel
making
like
drill music.
the aliens would first be met with fear and hesitation, and then eventually it would become more of a taboo thing of just like, think of it like, I don't know if you guys have seen True Blood, but the way that they portray like vampires in that show is like vampire
Horny.
Well, horny, but like
No, that's 100% that show. Every vampire show, just everyone's just super horny for
because
no
vampires
reason.
are super horny.
Why?
The whole thing is I have to.
Well, I mean, when you're immortal, when
You're
you're
literally-
immortal,
Dracula was
and
the horniest motherfucker ever.
when you're so strong, imagine how much testosterone's pumping through the male vampires, like just to keep them that young. Like,
Like they literally.
Don't
they
try to
literally
break
gotta
this
fuck,
out
dude.
into science. This is all magic.
Um,
you can't explain magic.
But vampires are like a taboo thing where
it's
like they
magic
sell
horny.
they sell vampire blood on the black market, and it's like, you know, like everything related. People
Does
know
consuming
vampires
the blood
exist.
make
Like
you a vampire?
yes,
Ah,
so it's like like a delicacy, almost like caviar is vampire blood, or like vampire blood infused products is like a drug. And so like there's different amounts that like won't make you permanently a vampire, but will give you like fangs for like a week or something like that. I don't remember the show that
Who
well.
wants to have
alien
fangs?
semen
In
like,
this
little
world that they were
test
building,
tube.
everyone like viewed vampires as like a higher form that was like, we'll never like coexist, but we can like view them as gods. But then there's a portion of the community that's like, oh, these people suck.
I mean, you
Yeah.
can totally coexist. Just put them in charge of all the arts and history departments.
Yeah. So I think that's how it would
Yes,
be
let's
like.
put them in charge of the departments that the U.S. fucking does not give a shit
Well,
about.
think about it. Like they're the ones
they
who would be the
lived
best at it.
through the
They live
centuries,
forever.
so they would know history.
Are what's it called, like there's not like museums. I don't know if you guys know this, but museums are not funded by the governments entirely. They are completely funded by themselves and by third party affiliates.
That's a shame.
That's
I feel
that's really shitty and shit. A
There's
lot
a
of
big issue with a lot of good jobs being like removed,
Yeah.
like that library stuff like that.
like what's like there's no job like what's like people who go into like paleontology and shit or anthropology, bro. I feel bad for them because like I know that they're not gonna have a super big like unless like you're gonna make a career out of this and get your doctorates and all this stuff. Like there's no job for these fucking people and shit,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that fucking sucks.
Right, unless you want to teach about it.
Yeah, exactly though too. Which most of I feel like most people who like are in these fields of specific studies sometimes just want to go into and whatnot though too. But you know these museums or like any of these places like giving out these public information just they aren't funded by the government.
Yeah.
Damn.
But anyways, aliens.
Aliens. Speaking of
So I think
who do you what?
aliens would be viewed kind of the same way, where it's like, okay, they are. Depending on what kind of species they are, we could view them as like a higher life form than us, and just view them as like this taboo thing. And it's like maybe there are people who want to fuck aliens just to say, "Oh my god, I had sex with an
There
alien."
are definitely people who want to fuck
And-
aliens.
and then-
I hate to tell you this, but there's a whole community who want to fuck aliens already.
That's really fucking weird that you people exist.
Well,
And
I
so-
believe I don't know if it coincides, but oviposition, so it's called oviposition, the interest in having eggs laid inside you. I don't know if that's specifically an alien-based thing, but it's usually an alien-based thing.
Well, I
don't
mean,
like
if
that.
you're, you know,
They buy like artificial eggs and things, and it's like it's really strange. Really strange. But I mean, all power
need
to
you to get off wherever sites you're.
a pastime of mine is just pushing random letters into Reddit and clicking whatever recommended subreddits come up
That's
if I don't
actually-
recognize the names. So I've found a lot of interesting places on that website. Also, that website's filthy as well. I've learned I don't like that.
Reddit is terrible. I was trying to find a
Dark
meme
place.
on the. I was trying to find a meme on the Ana de Armas Reddit, and I was like, okay, I'm typing Ana.
Motherfuckers are
never
gross.
again.
Oh, it took
Never
me a second.
again. Never again. The things I saw.
Yeah.
I'm turning my safe search on.
God damn it.
That was
Yeah.
terrifying.
Question for y'all. Two-part question. Number one, if aliens already have visited, where did you think they went first? Because if you think about it, the big three, China,
Africa.
Russia, China, like Russia, and
Oh, you thought I was joking.
oh, what's it like? I can see Africa.
I
see
could
Africa.
totally see them having some sort of a system
in
with
the
the pyramids. in
Oh yeah,
Egypt.
no, the aliens
Like they
definitely built the
didn't help
pyramids.
build it. They didn't help build it, but they definitely gave us the diagram and showed us how we could do
See,
it.
like that, I can believe.
They
That I can
definitely
believe.
gave us
I have
the
a
stuff
thought.
to do
You
that.
I
have
have a
thought?
thought about the pyramids, but I'll let you finish.
No. What's it like? Is he?
No.
No, refuses to elaborate.
So, big three: China, Russia, U.S. You're telling me
Russia.
if an alien comes and doesn't land in one of those three big ass countries, granted there is a lot of other places in the world for them to land, but in any of these three countries, they're gonna get like, no one's gonna give a shit.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's react. What's it like? No matter what, if they're gonna visit now, everyone is gonna be having the same fucking reaction. I guarantee you that.
Humans have done a great job of creating propaganda for aliens to research in the way that if they ever did visit Earth and they had enough research, they're gonna land in America. That is where everybody on Earth has just defaulted the idea of, yes, this is where they're gonna go. And I think the other countries are like, because we're all like, oh, we're cool, we want them to come to us first.
Yeah.
Every other country's like, we see how bad this goes, so we're just gonna let them take the first contact.
God damn it! Fuck no, and like that's the thing though. Like we
I'm sure
shouldn't
they'd be escorted to the United Nations though, probably.
see, and if like if they come down, they're nice and shit. But I can see them not coming here. But I can like most likely see them like being escorted here.
Well, they're definitely not going to Russia.
I don't know, bro.
I really don't think about it. Okay,
Superman, Red Sun.
Right. But the chances of landing in a populated area of Russia
Okay, but
from space.
But no, that's what I'm saying. That like since Russia's super big, and since we don't have anything, like we can't go into fucking Russia and shit unless like we go all Black Ops style and whatnot. There is like if a UFO were to land in Russia or China, the U.S. would not know.
That's very true.
Or if the U.S. knows, only the high top officials know, and there's probably like 6 of them, and shit.
I feel like they would land in like Cleveland.
Yeah,
'Cause
just
fuck
out of pure
Cleveland.
bad luck, they'll end up in some
Cleveland.
really
Who wants to go
boring.
to Cleveland?
Town, anyone.
LeBron fucking left there twice.
Our whole economy is based on
Crack.
LeBron James.
LeBron forgot that Cleveland was in Ohio for that
Don't
year.
stop
And
in
so, like-
Cleveland or
he's
you'll
like, man,
die."
I miss
honey,
this
we're-
team. Why did I leave? And then he got there. He's like, oh, because there's nothing fucking outside the stadium.
We're so polluted that all our fish have AIDS.
Oh,
I
But
love
at
Ohio.
least we're not Detroit.
Love Ohio.
Still
I plan to
not
visit at some
Detroit.
point, I'm sure.
Or New Jersey. Oh God, what if
New
the
Jersey's
what?
pretty
No.
They're like
land in
their own-
aliens land in Texas and get shot immediately. Local farmer shoots alien minutes after alien lands on Earth.
I guarantee you
The
that
alien,
people are going to
"I
be all like,
come
he shot a
in
Mexican or some shit like that.
This
and then they
alien
turn
is
to
just like,
they turn to a photo. It's just him with the fucking alien's corpse, like it's a fucking big game animal and
Do
shit.
you guys remember the
Fucking
movie
Smiley.
Aliens in the Attic?
Yeah, I
That
do
movie
remember
was
that.
fucking weird, bro.
I feel like those aliens would be a
I fucked
real
those aliens up.
pain to deal with.
I fucked those aliens up.
I don't want small aliens. I don't want aliens that are like this big. They're even scarier. It's like the ant effect. Then there's a bunch of them and they just swarm you.
Yeah, no, I can't do those. I hate those types of enemies in video games. I would
Okay.
fucking hate them.
So
the
perfect.
flood,
If you guys had to pick a type of alien that you wanted to visit from all of our pop culture, what do you want and what do you least want? I know Xenomorph's up there for least want, obviously.
No, I much rather
Wolf
not. I would
aliens.
feel like I feel like the Predator is a lot more scary, to be quite honest.
Does the Predator actually want to hunt us?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
well, the fact that
but like
fact
we have
that
to be worthy of the
Yeah.
hunt first. Like it's a reason like we're in the first one why he's hunting all those special forces guys because he sees that they're strong.
Okay, so he
like,
only hunts people who are like considered strong.
yeah, he
Yeah.
wants to. It's
He
like
wants
a
a- he wants a
dominance thing. Like,
he wants a challenge.
Yeah.
because in their like rituals or like their lore, like their what's called like a worthy hunt is like, you know, I guess gratifies you as like a you know, a
I
good
think
predator.
what's
and
scary
stuff
about the
like that.
predator is that they know how to use technology.
They're calculated.
Yeah, they're smart, and I'm not saying the xenomorphs aren't smart, but they're
More
are
like a
just
beast.
scary.
They're
Yeah.
more of like a beast scary.
Well, I would.
rather than
I
like
feel
a
like
calculated.
I feel like a predator wouldn't do me any harm. Really, I feel like an alien. Like a xenomorph
Oh
would
no,
kill
bro.
me for no reason.
What's it called? Have you not seen Predator 2? There's literally a part where he's walking up in the party. There's there's drugs everywhere, people doing coke, tits everywhere, and he just murks everybody.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
He's like not just murk them, but like skin them, Mortal Kombat, take out their heads and spines.
Yeah,
and,
I
like,
never
put
watched
'em
any
up.
of the Alien or Predator movies. I won't lie.
I would watch the first Predator and watch the first Alien.
I've
Apparently-
seen the really shitty Predator movie, the latest one, I think.
What?
no.
Bro, I love that one.
It's
I like
the ending that
concept.
is done poorly in that one.
Yes, the ending was really.
They droned it
Why
on for
you
much
haven't-
longer than it needed to be.
Why did you make Eddie Brock a the weirdo serial killer in space? Like I
You
didn't
know what's
know
funny?
That. Ever see? No, keep going. I'll
The
go.
guy who wrote and directed that Predator movie was in the first Predator. He's one of Shane Black. His first role was in Predator. He's
What
like
is
the
he-
guy, the nerdy guy with the glasses.
Oh, that's so sad.
That's Shane Black. And Shane Black went on to direct, he became a screenwriter. He did movies like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which is really good if you haven't seen it. It's my favorite Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie.
He did The Nice Guys with Ryan Gosling and obviously Iron Man 3. And then he did Predator.
That's a
He
very
did Iron
interesting.
Man. He did
I
Iron Man.
love
list.
and I love Iron Man 3. It's just so good.
Well, what's
It's
the,
written so well because it takes, every like superhero trope and is like, no,
it's like
we're
fuck
gonna fuck you.
I do
You
like
want the
Iron Man 3 for
Mandarin?
what it does.
Fuck you. You're
For the
getting
character.
Trevor.
it. You're getting Trevor.
But yeah, Predator, there have been studies that have shown that most men get the same the same sense of testosterone release as they do during sex while watching the Predator. And most men would rather watch the Predator with the boys than have sex with a woman.
Where are you getting this
I need to stop
information,
exhaling into the microphone. But
bro? You're out here making fucking made up statistics and
It's
shit.
true. I'm going to look it up.
No, I was just saying, like, I like that movie because,
would
like,
you dog the boys on a night of watching Predator?
huh?
Would you dog the boys on a night of watching Predator when that's on the table?
Oh.
When a night of watching Predator with the boys is on the table, you don't dog the boys, TJ.
If it means having
Whoa, that is
sex,
not
yeah,
that is not
sorry,
what I
dog,
meant. That
yeah.
is not what I'm googling. No.
fucking Carlos.
That's no.
No, I was just, at first, like, the reason why I felt like it wasn't that bad. There was a couple of stuff they could have fixed, though. I didn't like how Homeboy ended up being a weird serial killer because you have all these special ops people and then you have him,
Right.
Yep.
so that didn't make sense. The Yakuza guy, bro, or what's like that Lawrence Fishburne's character, I actually did really like him.
Oh my God, he actually found like an article for this.
Just because it's an article doesn't
Marriage not as good as Predator, say men. Marrying a woman who shares your hopes
Okay,
and
see,
dreams
that's
is still
different.
nowhere.
Marriage
yeah,
is completely different.
I got it
Yeah.
confused. I thought it was marrying a woman who shares your hopes and dreams is still nowhere near as good as Predator, according to a new survey. Found that
What
80% rated that the Schwarzenegger epic had higher levels of excitement and intellectual stimulation than a lifetime commitment to some woman. And you know what I have to say?
It's funny, and I understand where they're coming from.
Predator is pretty epic.
Carlos, we need to get
I
you off the
haven't
internet, bro. You need
seen
to
Predator, but
It'll change your
I
life,
could
bro.
see the argument as to why it beats marriage.
Just look at Arnold, bro. He's jacked.
Think
like
of-
that first
is that,
one.
Is that, where
And
the,
Carl Weather.
is that where the "you son of a bitch" scene is from?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
that enough. That alone is almost enough.
That movie is just testosterone.
It
That's
is.
literally
It's just
all it is.
sweat and
Well,
muscles and veins.
You heard the behind the scenes. It was like a competition between all the actors to see who could stay the most pumped, right?
Yeah.
Like Arnold called in a fucking gym to his set in the forest
it's
so that he could work
incredible.
out.
No, dude, I can't know.
Like they would get up at 3 a.m. and be in the gym to do their sets early so that the other guys wouldn't see them in the gym so that they'd come back later so that everybody else would think it's just natural. So they'd come in at they'd go to the gym at 3 a.m., pump massive sets of iron and come in when the rest of them are all in the gym and go, oh, you guys are working out. No, not me. I just got a drink. I'll see you guys later.
Oh my god.
It's just like
it's
that video of Arnold in the documentary when he's like, I get the feeling of the bump is the same of being with the woman and coming. I get the feeling of coming in the
about
gym.
that.
Like coming when I'm pumping up backstage before the show, and coming when I'm getting oiled up before the
But that
presentation.
movie is so weird because that
coming at
movie is
home,
not a
coming at the
sci-fi.
gym.
What's it like? That movie is not a sci-fi for like the good first like 30, 35
No, it's
minutes
literally
and
just
shit.
the boys in the jungle with guns. Like they're literally killing the jungle dwellers. It's literally like Vietnam.
Oh my god!
No, literally, like they're going up against this like guerrilla tactical team, and they're just
That
like
turns out,
they
like-
gotta take out all these like.
Could you imagine
Natives.
Predator is just this one guy's story? He's the only guy who survived fighting in Vietnam, and this is just his explanation of how things went down. So he didn't seem like much of a pussy.
Oh, and
It's
then
like then this random ass alien comes down from the tree. It doesn't speak our language. I don't know what
it
it's
opens
doing.
its mask. It's got tentacles or some pincers and shit.
It just kills everybody. Everybody. Lo and behold, it was like a soldier who was just
Yeah.
really good at his job,
But
Fucking-
and he just happened to be
Alien.
wearing mud.
Alien, however, is
That's
obviously
dude,
a lot different. Alien
You're
1,
fucked, bro.
Alien's
You're
a horror
fucked.
movie.
Is there a way to
and
beat
through.
xenomorphs?
Yeah, just
Guns and a
lots
lot
of
of them.
guns. Yeah, big guns and
Maybe
space
armor,
guns.
pyro. You want to get armor piercing or some pyro rounds and shit.
Fire is good.
I don't even think like pistols will not do anything.
So you couldn't beat it in a hand-to-hand combat?
No,
Oh hell
arms
no!
are way too long, and his head is way too long. And
That
his-
tail.
I think-
that tail's the difference maker. That tail is the biggest difference maker in this fight.
I think we need to contact the creators of Death Battle. I think it's time to get a me versus a xenomorph Death Battle going.
That is not the same thing.
I know.
Why did you say that?
Okay,
But-
so hear me out. I'm thinking.
Go
I'm thinking.
first, and
I'm
then I have a
thinking.
comment about that.
I'm thinking, right? Get it. The xenomorph has a long head, right? But what else is long? Its tail, right? So what I'm thinking, right, is I hide behind a box, wait for it to walk past me, grab that tail, boom, over my shoulder, all of my strength into this one throw. Ready? All of my strength over the shoulder, slam the xenomorph. Get this, right? His head so big,
So
he's moving
what-
like a hammer. He gets stuck in the
what do you
ground.
want your caskets to be made out of?
He gets stuck in the ground because
Oh.
the back of his head is so hammer shaped, and then he just kind of gets wedged in the metal, and then you just start wailing on him.
You look like a redwood guy. I'm gonna make sure that your casket's redwood and shit. Because that's what's gonna happen. Actually, we won't even need a casket. You'll be melted by its blood. If you try to
it's
take
blood
off its
that's
tail.
acidic, huh?
If anyone has Prime Gaming, Alien Isolation is free right now on.
Yeah,
Origin.
no, like if you
Really?
want to know how these motherfuckers get down, play that game.
I might have to try it for a video this month.
Alien's interesting because it has a lot of weaknesses, but overall it's just really.
What weaknesses do you have?
Well, no. What I'm talking about is like you can easily, at least in the movies, like you could just avoid contact with the alien.
Are they faster than us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Okay,
fast
so
as
hear me
shit.
out, right? We're on the,
What's they run. They can stand on 2 feet and then like run faster while
so
all
we're
fours.
on the ISS, right? Right. This is where this is happening, right? And for
Wait,
some
what?
reason,
What's
I'm
the
on the
ISS?
the International Space Station.
That's a legit thing. I thought that was like a Space Force meme.
Yeah, no, we have that. That's been a thing for like 10
Homie,
years.
it's gonna circle around in the next couple days.
What is
People
this?
have been in-
Justice League?
People have been up there for like 7 years.
What the fuck are they doing up there? Jerking each other off? What do you do up there?
Experiments. Like experimenting on
Yes,
with-
let's
with
go-
lack of gravity.
Yes, let's go pour more vials and shit in space this time.
There's like I think it's like 14 or 15 astronauts, maybe more now that we keep sending people up there to meet and dock with them.
Dude, you think?
But-
Oh, bro, how cool would it be to be like one of the first people to fuck in space?
Right? Apparently, okay, now this is complete bullshit, but according to NASA, no one has ever had sex in space. I get it. Listen, I understand that it's impossible to get an erection in space. However, knowing the human race, there is no way that they did not attempt to fuck in space enough to the point where they got it successfully enough to say that they were the first people to fuck in space. Somebody
I
on
agree,
that
I
space
agree.
station has to own that title because nobody would not want that title.
Exactly. Either that or everyone's just in their little quarters, just going to town on themselves and shit because no one can get anything.
Right. Well, I mean, like it's
Or
hard.
maybe
to
it's
even
just a
get out
bunch of
your
dudes
suit
and like,
shit.
oh, bro, it would suck to be like the only female on there.
Well, there are a couple women on the space station. If not half of the crew, I think, are female.
That's
the
pretty
big thing
fucking
is, I
dope,
remember
actually.
NASA
Like,
had to
that's actually
report
really
a while
cool.
back that I don't know how true this is. There was a point where they were considering an all-male astronaut team because of the expenses they did. Keep in mind, NASA's a bunch of nerds, and a bunch of nerds usually don't like women. So they were like doing the math, and they're like, putting female astronauts in space is a lot more expensive, because they have to handle all of the changes, like, because once a month you have to worry about changing that, whereas everybody else just gets a catheter. And it's like, it was so interesting to see because they were almost so willing to go for this all-male astronaut team until, like, I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but they were like, immediately, they were like, we think we should go for an all-male astronaut team. And it was like someone came up, shuffled, handed him a paper, and he's like, what's this? Okay, never mind. Co-ed team's good to go.
Well, fucking good and shit.
It's like NASA got to pay, handed him a paper that says we need the money.
Get some women up there and,
It's not always about the money, Spider-Man.
It's just about the Mets.
Gotta love the Mets. Go Mets.
But,
Hit a home run.
but hear me out. My theory, right? This xenomorph gets on the ISS, right? And for some reason, I'm chilling up there on the ISS, all right? So immediately, I'm going to the storage dock. I'm going to the storage bay, all right? We're heading to the storage bay. He's chasing me down the halls, right? There's a bunch of guys to get through before me, all right? I'm closing the doors behind all of the other crewmates. Listen, I don't know. I don't have that experience with them like they do. All right. I get to the airlock in the storage room, right? I immediately start tying bricks to my shoes. I open the airlock when the xenomorph gets in there. We're both shooting out of the spaceship. All right. I know this thing's pretty big, right? I have the bricks on my shoes, right? These are going to carry me down to Earth's atmosphere. All right. Now we're gonna be coming in. We're gonna be coming. We don't need to worry about that. We're gonna be coming in. We're gonna be coming in hot, right? Right. How do you solve this? All right. Where are we gonna land? Right. The next thing you know, we're coming down over Africa. All right. And it's like, well, this isn't ideal. We want to land in the water, right? Well, So I'm thinking, right? We just start aiming for the water as hard as we can, right? And right before we get there, water bucket, break the surface tension. I go through the water. The alien splashes on the surface and just completely disintegrates.
So I have a lot of questions.
You're gonna die on impact.
If he doesn't already freeze the water in space and shit, bro.
If I time that water bucket right,
bro. Imagine
that. This thing, you're not falling through space fast.
You're just.
If anything, the bricks would slow you down.
No, but like
I thought you were gonna tie bricks so you don't fly out of the airlock.
That would be.
I need to fly faster than him.
He can't breathe in space.
Oh, xenomorphs can't breathe in space?
No.
Oh, that's like a huge oversight.
Spoiler alert.
I mean, neither can
they can't breathe in space.
I mean, neither can I. But like, that's a much easier solution than you think. Then.
So here's what you need to do.
But you have to win though.
Sacrifice. Put someone in an airlock. Somebody from the crew in the airlock. Get the xenomorph in the airlock, and bye.
You have to have an emergency meeting, and then you vote who goes in the airlock. Yeah.
I'd be down to be stuck. Just give me show me where the button is and shit. Tie the bricks around my feet. I'll just yell. Come at me, pussy. Bonk. But no.
Goodbye.
Epic rap battles in history. It's weird that you bring that. They're fantastic writers.
Mm-hmm.
They are legit.
They do an amazing job.
Like
you guys want to hear a new one?
No.
I had to cut this out last time. He laughed like
this. No, let's not do it. Let's not make homework, dude. No. Bro,
do you guys think that maybe this might put us on a list? Do you think JFK was assassinated by aliens? Just hear me out a little bit.
The bullet curved. Let us never
JFK's
forget.
administration was like peak alien time, wasn't it? Like peak UFO era?
No. It was just space race.
Space race, though.
But but I can't see it, bro.
Aliens were like, listen, we don't want humans in space. So you're gonna learn a lesson today.
Oh,
they saw the American flag on the moon. They're like, all right, leader.
This is a good segue because this is going to go into like now our conspiracy theories and whatnot though too. But oh
shit, hold on. I just remembered one more thing. What? Did you guys know that the Earth has a planetary flag?
Yeah.
And have you seen it?
Yeah.
Like the multiple rings. Mm-hmm. I think it's shit. I think it's awful.
I don't
know why you didn't just use the Olympic logo.
Yeah.
It's quite literally the most obvious symbol of all of us together.
Yes, competing to find out which country's the best.
Well, yeah, but it's like the most united symbol we have. Like that shitty multiple rings thing is stupid.
Christmas tree.
A Christmas tree would be kind of fun. Well,
actually, no, because now everyone celebrates Christmas. So
Kwanzaa,
we can't
motherfucker.
You celebrate Kwanzaa?
No, I'm just kidding. No.
Remember to say word.
Let us never forget.
But I am very aware of it, though. Very aware of it.
Let us never forget that in X-Men, they tried to retcon that Magneto killed JFK on accident. Because they're like, oh, the bullet curved. And he's like, I wasn't trying to kill him. I was trying to save him.
What? But no, okay, so...
The master of magnetism. Who can stop any bullet in the series so far tried to save JFK? And you're telling me he couldn't?
There's some things in this world that you just can't change.
You're telling me he couldn't sense the fucking bullet from 30 miles away? The same guy who can manipulate Earth's magnetic poles? In 20 seconds?
He didn't want to save him.
Ladies and gentlemen, Carlos, although he's very heated, brings up very valid points in my
It's
opinion.
bullshit, and they should have never introduced that plot line. That's stupid. Just have him be in the prison for like robbing a bank or something.
Right.
No, that's too petty for his character. That's too petty.
Well, couldn't he still manipulate it from the jail cell?
Well, no,
I
because the
think he
jail
has
cell
a.
is
I think
so
he has a radius.
it's
though,
so buried underground. Well, at that point they
It's
had
made out of
they hadn't
it's made out of
established
plastic
that.
still too.
Yeah, he's always in a plastic jail, and
The plastic guns don't make sense. Those don't make sense.
there are plastic guns that can shoot
Not-
actual ammunition.
Yeah, but like
one
not
time, right?
not those ones in those movies. Those guns,
No.
they're plastic they're plastic revolvers and shit.
I
Oh,
think
they
it's-
actually get into the concept of using plastic weaponry against him in one of the movies.
Yeah,
yeah,
That's
it's
interesting.
basically how they hold him captive
it makes sense.
in the
Because there's no
original
metal and
trilogy
shit.
and the
But
trilogy.
until fucking Charles Xavier, the supposed good guy, gives him like two of those fucking Japanese balls that you do in your fucking hand and shit, and then proceeds
used
to
to
murder
have
everyone
those.
with his balls.
Well, no. What happened?
Oh
They
my
remember
God.
Mystique fucking pumped a extra ton of iron in the fat guy's blood, and then there's that scene where Magneto literally rips all of the iron out of the guy's blood.
That one was,
That was
like,
kind of like
Oh, that's kind of fire.
his best. I see. Now talking about
Magneto's fucking epic.
Magneto's tight. The best Magneto scene is from X-Men. What was the one with Havoc?
First class.
Yeah, First Class, where he's like, I'm gonna get
Yeah,
this.
to get the coin.
Yeah, have you
through
seen
your
that movie?
head.
Oh,
Oh
dude,
my
it's
God.
a
I'm not an X-Men
fantastic.
fan.
It's
First
literally
one.
a 5-minute scene.
This one is good. I give this one a try.
It takes 5 minutes to watch this coin go through one end of the guy's head out the other.
Yeah, it's basically like he finds this Nazi guy that like made him. So I don't know if you know about Magneto, but like he grew up in Nazi.
I'm caught up on Magneto personally. The only reason I've told you guys before why I don't like X-Men, right?
No, but like
I think
there's multiple
I think
reasons,
it's
but-
really stupid and far fetched that with all these aliens that exist, you know, in Guardians of the Galaxy, they're going from planet to planet, and everybody's
Yeah.
just normal people. I find it really bullshit that humans, for some reason, are suddenly superpowered as like half the population.
Yeah.
It's like saying this, like, humans, we're so great that all these other aliens are so normal, and then we get this mutant gene and nobody else does.
Well,
And
that's
it's
why I
like,
think like establishing mutants in the MCU would be really weird because they've already established that like people with superpowers are weird, and so like
Well,
now half the world has mutants and nobody picked up on that.
that's why the MCU
what is this, My Hero
the MCU
Academia?
actually the MCU managed to retcon that issue that I have by giving themselves so many outlets to try to make an explanation, like the snap or the multiverse issue. They've given themselves so many different outlets to run with for it, whereas the comics is just kind of like, oh yeah, they have a gene. You know. I remember seeing the panel on 9/11, the Doctor Doom shedding a tear. That panel, that Spider-Man comic is so interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's like all of the the
it's
villains come to help.
Yeah, the
'cause it's like-
villains are coming to
because
help.
even
and stuff
they
like
think
that.
some things are too over the top. It's like, listen, guys,
Yes,
I
'cause
get
House
it.
of M never
I get
happened.
it. This is great for everybody who's living through this issue. I guarantee you, they have done so much worse.
I don't think anyone wanted to see Doctor Doom helping out.
They
during
have
that.
done so much worse. Doctor Doom himself has done worse.
The sentiment's there, but like we're not just gonna forget
All
about
these innocent lives. Like, what do you mean?
We're not gonna forget about the time Doctor Doom sacrificed his mother to gain more power and shit and sold her soul to the devil. We're not gonna forget that, are we?
We're never gonna forget the time in the Ultimates when Wanda and Quicksilver fucked, and Wolverine watched.
Oh, that's weird.
It's
It's weird, guys, because
Well, the
for our-
Ultimates in general was just rough.
yeah. Ultimate Spider-Man was the only good one.
like the video game or the TV
The
show.
TV like the comics.
comic run.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree
Not
with that.
Ultimate Spider-Man, but Marvel Ultimates Spider-Man.
Yeah,
That's the one where.
he had the most slick-looking comic book covers of all of them.
Well, and I have to say it ties into the zombies as well.
Mm.
And my God,
I like that one.
zombies.
Marvel Zombies is pretty
Zombie Spider-Man. My God, he literally blacks out and eats Mary Jane and his daughter and Aunt May, and then wakes up and he's holding like a half torso of MJ. That scarred me as a kid.
Oh yeah, that's just rough.
That was bad.
But you know what? Marvel Zombies did really good, but I like DC Zombies a lot better.
I haven't read.
I did not. Oh, I remember DC Zombies now.
It's a recent
I
one.
actually
It's
read.
recent.
I think I actually read a couple panels of that shit.
Yeah.
And it looks nice. Is
No.
it? It's when they use the. Is it? I'm thinking of Darkest Night and Brightest Day.
So this one is like they have like this equation. Like, it's called like the anti-laugh equation, and how the virus spreads is through the internet. And so if you see it and whatnot, then you get infected, and you start having like it's a combination of like this magic combined with like a legit viral virus.
A venereal disease.
Yeah, a venereal disease, but there's no cure. And anyone that comes in contact just becomes like erratic and angry and just zombies. But now imagine if
Is
Superman.
that the same universe where Batman has to give himself superpowers to take out the zombies?
Yeah.
Mm.
But no, in this one he just he dies and stuff.
Oh,
there's even a panel where Jason Todd finds the Joker's dead corpse and he latches it onto the Batmobile with Joker's dead corpse hanging on the front like a fucking trophy and shit.
Jeez.
And he's plowing through zombies, and Jim Gordon's all like, "Is this necessary?" And Jason Todd looks at him and is like, "Yes." And then he just keeps going.
That's the thing I like. DC was always dark. I feel like when Marvel gets dark, it hits. DC has always been dark, and I like it for that reason.
DC's a bit more consistent, but Marvel, like when it does decide to become dark, they're fantastic stories.
They do a great job, and I can't wait to see them do a horrible, like fucked up movie in the future.
I really do.
I want to see that rated R movie that makes us go, holy shit! Like you should, maybe you should have thought about this.
And I feel like the only time we're gonna get that is with Blade.
Yeah, do you think so?
Either Blade or Ghost Rider, that new Doctor Strange movie.
Sony has a chance to make Morbius pretty good.
Here's the thing.
After
watching Carnage.
Oh yeah, you've seen the Carnage movie already.
Yeah, we need to figure out. Okay, this is where an interesting diversion occurs.
No spoiler alerts, everyone. You guys can keep
listening. No spoilers. But they keep saying that Carnage pushes the PG-13 rating to its limits, and I disagree. There's one aspect. Like, obviously, I wasn't looking.
Wasn't
for,
the first?
Doesn't even say
Venom
the
R?
F word.
No, it was PG-13. And it was pretty tame, but there was a lot of off-camera stuff shown. Like he still bit heads off. There was still some interesting.
But
kills.
there wasn't the blood splatter or something like that.
No, there was none of that, which is fine. I don't feel like I need my Venom movies to be bloody, because here's the thing: they're trying to market it to a mass audience, and I mean, if you look at the way that the comics and everything is headed, I mean, they had Venom and Carnage in the Spider-Man animated series, and we enjoyed them as kids without blood and gore. So
hell, there weren't even punches thrown, and we still enjoyed it.
Yeah, so we should be able to enjoy it now. But here's the thing with the Carnage movie, and this isn't a spoiler because they've released the clips online and everything, but there's the scene where Carnage transforms and escapes the prison, and it feels like, while I was watching it, they wanted to go a certain point, and they just couldn't, because you
think they were trying to do something and then kind of caught, they were hesitant and then pulled out?
I think that's what it feels like. Ooh. Because you're watching and it's just Carnage is running around and he has giant sword hands, but then all he's doing is using tentacles to just throw guys off screen. And you just see a guy
paling.
No,
there's that one can't use him to his fullest extent.
Right. There's one part where he pins a prison guard to the wall and he sticks his tongue down his throat. But they show that in the trailer and it cuts away because you think, oh, they're gonna show more in the movie. No, it's exactly the same cut in the movie, and it just feels like he just barely puts his tongue in, and then he choked, and then he's just dead, and then he jumps around more, and so. It brings me back to watching, I watched Casino Royale recently, and that movie, it's PG-13, and that movie hits. And
I feel but those are two different ones, though.
But not necessarily, because Casino Royale is, you want to talk about pushing the limits of a PG-13. Pirates of the Caribbean as well. All three, especially the last two.
Dead Man's Chest.
Dead Man's Chest especially is, hyper violent for a Disney PG-13.
I feel for PG-13 for Casino Royale and then PG-13 for a Venom movie, they have to be two different versions of PG-13, because one is entirely made up of fiction while the other one is still grounded in reality. More or less.
And also one is marketed to older kids, whereas Venom is now trying to be marketed towards all ages.
Yeah, what was his comic book run right now? He's a good guy.
Yeah.
But what's called the King? What's called the King of the Symbiote series and shit. Dude, that one's a good comic. That's one.
And so that's the one part that I found was lacking was not. I ultra violence. I'm not looking for blood or guts. I'm just looking for impact. And that's something that those movies lack for me, whereas other PG-13s like Pirates of the Caribbean have, because, I mean, whenever Davy Jones, Pirates of the Caribbean 3, Davy Jones literally, like, suffocates a guy by sticking, like, 3 of his tentacles in all his orifices. But it's, like,
really?
Yeah, and it's pretty graphic for... It still gets me, like...
Oh, I loved it.
If a movie, no matter the rating, if it manages to make me go, ugh, or make me feel something.
Davy Jones is the reason I'm obsessed with like the Cthulhu mythos and shit.
Yeah.
Just because of his design.
Yeah.
It was
so
really well done.
That's the one part that I felt was lacking from Carnage, was just a sense of impact and weight in a lot of the action and stuff. Besides that, I love the movie. I thought it was great. Tom Hardy once again carries that movie on his back.
Can I have a hot take?
Yeah.
I think I think Bo Venom should have been R.
I think so too. I think Marvel's suffering from this big issue where right now they're so focused on the overarching journey, and they're pushing to stay PG-13, and they're like, this Doctor Strange movie will be the first R. I wouldn't be surprised if they knocked it down to PG-13 just for the money.
Yeah.
They're forgetting that once you get past you can sacrifice a movie that doesn't break the box office super hard because it's rated R, so that you can make better movies in the future. But I feel like if you made 2 rated R Venom movies that are Sony's property, they're not even technically MCU, this would have been a great reason to make them rated R so that less people watch them. But not only does that set up a terrifying villain for your movie when you inevitably steal the rights back, but it's also like you want these people to be scary. You want Venom and Carnage. If they're gonna be the only scary creatures we put in the MCU, then they should be the most terrifying.
That is the one reason I agree. There is one reason I'll disagree with it being R, but I'll let you continue.
So, and it's not even like if we're gonna legit push the PG-13 boundaries and stuff like that. Personally, from a director's standpoint, I would have legit feel like where it could have pushed PG-13. I feel like if you gave Carnage the actual scenes where he's stabbing people, you can even show it off screen and stuff like that. Like you said, it doesn't have to be all this blood and stuff, but it has to be implied, and the audience needs to see it to feel, oh shit, this dude's legit crazy, and will run up on someone and shit just for shits and giggles. And I feel like and there's a scene in Venom that I haven't seen it, but it's in the trailer. It's the part where he breaks out. In that one, I saw the little bit of clip of it that IGN showed and whatnot. I don't like that scene at all, and I'll tell you why. In that scene, everyone in that room, everyone needs to bite the dust, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think everyone needs to bite the dust for the sole reason of, number one, shock value. Number two, would you say the scene that was already in the movie currently right now where he just breaks out and people are running out the door, it's not a spoiler, it's in a clip in the shorts by IGN. Would you rather have that one, or where all of the people that he's ever affected, he just marks all of them and they don't get the resolution that they all came for?
So in the actual movie, it's different. The clip was edited a bit differently.
Yeah.
It's definitely that was the one part of that scene that I really did enjoy, just because of the way they did it, and they actually made him really scary, because there's one shot when he picks up the guy who was in charge of the injection, and he picks him up and he's about to bite his head off, but then a fire alarm goes off. But one thing they establish is, whereas whenever an alarm a loud noise goes off around Venom, all he does is cower and he goes away. Carnage instantly just puts out the alarm.
Oh.
And so it shows that the sound is the weakness, but he's a little bit... He doesn't care. He's just kind of fuck that.
Bloodthirsty.
And so the guy ends up getting away, but at the same time it sets up this imminent danger. And so I feel like they did a really good job at implying a lot of stuff, but as the scene progressed, it just kind of got more chaotic, but not in a good way. Just I lost track of what was happening.
That's the thing though too. I felt like if he would have escaped, everyone would have looked at him with shock and awe, and then maybe cut out to a scene where he's kind of just the tentacles are going flying everywhere, people are getting thrown around and stuff like that, and then once the smoke clears and shit, maybe you show all the bodies and how mangled they are and stuff.
There is one part where there's they do like like in the aftermath they do show one body and like him like stealing clothes, and it's like it's pretty grisly. So like there's definitely a lot of implications, and I feel like once you see it, you'll understand why they're PG-13. And I think a lot of people are getting it now, and this is why they're also turning Deadpool into a hard PG-13. But the one thing I have to say about Deadpool is I trust Ryan Reynolds because I know Ryan Reynolds.
He'll do it too. Like he'll make sure like the
he
I've
understands
been,
how to push the limits.
I've been watching Free Guy recently. I'm
How's that?
about an hour in. Oh, it is such a good movie. It
Really?
is
I heard
probably
it's
one
a
of
lot
my
of fun.
favorite movies ever now.
I
It is
will-
just so well done.
ask-
The plot. It doesn't follow a narrative structure the way I'm used to, but other than that, it is great.
I'm wondering, because it is like a video game, is there a lot of like Easter eggs towards?
Oh
like,
yeah, there's like genuine like weapons from games in there. Like I like he play the one that I'll spoil is he pulls out the Mega Man gun. Just randomly from his inventory. It's such a good movie. Oh, it's been so good. I'm not done with it yet, but like the
You might have
first
to
the
watch
first 45 50 minutes so good. So and it's so it starts off with like Ryan Reynolds' narration, and it's kind of hard to shake the Deadpooliness of his speaking in the beginning, because he talks essentially the exact same way as he does when he's Deadpool, because it's literally just him being him. But oh man, it's a great plot, and one thing I hate is B plots in movies, because they're usually done horribly in a lot of good movies that don't need them. For example, Godzilla versus King Kong, but. The B story is even all right so far. It has an actor I'm not a big fan of, but he's playing the role really well. He's the dude from Stranger Things, big forehead dude.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's doing way better in this role than he ever
didn't
did
know he
in
was in this
Stranger
movie.
Things. Yeah, surprisingly.
I saw that Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi's in it. Oh, and I've seen him in his role. He does an amazing job. I didn't realize it was him until I
He's
looked at
an
him in the
amazing-
face real
bro,
hard.
Shout out to all the Polynesian directors out there, bro, doing it right.
But no, that's phenomenal. But we do need to. Okay, so we need to get one more clip. We're gonna talk about. So
What's your favorite
in the
conspiracy
hold
theory?
on. We'll finish with conspiracy theories. I just want to
Gotcha.
do this one real quick, because if we don't forget, we're gonna kick ourselves for it, or if we don't do it, we'll kick ourselves for it. So we filmed a podcast last week. We didn't really discuss it, but that's because it came out afterwards, I believe. But Netflix's Squid Game came out.
No.
Have you guys seen it? Have you
I've
guys
seen
any
clips of it. No. And to be quite honest, I think it's because it's getting more and more popular.
That's fair.
I'm gonna watch it in like 8 years when everyone's bashing on it and saying this is the worst show to ever exist.
See, I was thinking about not watching it because everybody else wants to watch it. I hate Netflix shows because I don't like TV. But I figured I would watch the first episode at least for the podcast, so I can regale you guys what it's like. Now listen, it's a Korean production. I think Korean productions are done
Don't watch the
so
English
much
dub.
better. No, don't watch the English dub. I watched the sub.
Hashtag alive, bro. Watch that. Koreans on Netflix, they've been killing it lately.
Well, like Train to Busan was great back when that came out. I hate the fact that they're remaking it American.
What, like the second one?
Train to Busan? They're making
No,
an
they're
Americanization.
remaking the first one in
Yeah,
in
they're
English.
it's like Snowpiercer where they redid. Yeah,
They're also trying to pitch
Dude,
a Parasite
why?
remake.
I was pissed about Snowpiercer.
Wait, hold up. Why are
and
they
it's
trying to
like-
make a Parasite remake?
America wants all the money from those IPs flowing to them.
Stop taking these stories from other people of
Right?
color and whatnot, or some
they
like
were
cultures
so
and
well
shit. This
done.
is so important. And Parasite's such a good movie too.
But Squid Game
Although
essentially.
that one part under the couch,
Spoiler-free first episode review. Just quite simply, it is. I think I can see why everybody likes it. For me personally, it doesn't surprise me because I'm used to watching a lot of Korean K-dramas and Korean films. And they're usually very over the top, but like when they do stuff, they're about it. Like Korea is about it in their films, and in this
When shit's
show,
gonna
it's
drop,
the same.
shit's
It's
gonna
the
drop.
same thing. Like when they want to be dark, they go for it. And I've only seen the first episode. I've seen some
Is
of
there-
like the memes about the future episodes, but the first episode's red light, green light. Which I feel like if you haven't seen anything about it yet, at this point, it's not that bad. It's red light, green light. There's this doll that stands across the room.
Yep.
You get caught moving, you get shot. And like this, so essentially all this is an underground hidden ring of people who are in debt, who have been rounded up and taken to do this game, essentially,
Oh, so it's kind of like
to win money because they have like
what's that
money
one
issues.
movie? It's the one where like a billionaire gets all these people and they have to do like these these
Like Truth or
dares.
Dare?
Yeah.
Why did my girlfriend said the exact same thing when I
No,
brought
there
it up
is
to
one.
her.
And-
Yeah,
and
it's
I-
called Truth or Dare.
No.
Oh.
Not that shitty movie. What's it like that movie? I get the premise. It was cool.
Oh, you mean Escape Room?
No, not Escape Room. It's another movie. Crap. No, it's called Would You Rather.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that.
Poo-poo, man.
We're like what's called like one of the challenges and whatnot is like okay, like stick your head in a go bob for some apples, and then like that's the title of the challenge. But the real challenge is like see how long you can outlast your opponent and like breathing underwater and shit. And like,
That shit's a good movie.
But
But
the thing about
that one was actually
Squid
good.
Game, I feel, is like every once in a while there comes something that everyone is just going to be obsessed with. And
This is just it. This is the new
this is
fad.
the moment, right? And I feel bad because it's like Stranger Things. It came out, everyone's obsessed with it. Then came all the merch, then came all the stuff. And then they
Yeah.
greenlit season 2. And this guy who worked on the show, I respect it. That script was in development for 10 years. Again, he was trying to pitch it around. No one would produce it. Everyone said it was stupid. He finally got a chance to make it, and then it finally blew up. And they're already looking into greenlighting a season 2, and I don't think it's going to be as successful. Like,
how do you
season two,
season
don't you
2
mean-
something like this?
they're thinking
feel-
it would focus on the officers instead of the contestants.
Interesting.
So like it would be about like the people running the show, which could be interesting, but at the same time I'm just like, you gave this guy his shot, it worked, and he's raking in all this success, and then it's just gonna I have a feeling it'll flop if they do season 2 like Stranger Things did.
I feel like again with those certain there's more avenues with the story that they can go off of like what if like they did something with like it's something more for the officers in Squid Game and stuff like that and then like how they got the job, but then like what if like some of the officers know some of the people who are in the and shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff you could do with it.
My biggest issue is simply just that it could have been a movie, and I feel like that would have removed a lot of issues. If it was a movie instead of a TV show, that would have not only would it completely fit time-wise, I'm pretty sure. Hell, even make it a 2.5-hour movie, 3-hour movie. It's Korea. They'll be fine.
I feel like if they would have done that, that would have been better.
It's
When
it
I
would have
found out it
saved
was
you
just-
all the
I
issues
thought
that
it
a
was a
TV
movie,
show
yeah.
creates for it. So did I. That's why I was so disappointed.
Same here.
But it's because, and I think I said this on the last podcast. I don't remember if I did. Netflix thrives off of the watch time for people. That is their statistic that they report to their advertisers that gets them their money. Hulu and Disney Plus also gets their monetary value from the watch time, but places like Hulu and stuff don't. That's why they add ads in between the program. Netflix requires themselves to show you the "Are you still there?" notification, but if you've noticed lately, it still plays in the background and continues because they're still secretly mining that watch time statistic
Actually-
so that they can make those ads, and it's quite interesting.
I mean, like, what's all at the end of the day, it's a business. It's it's going to be a business.
Yeah.
But I even heard that even before that, even like the continue, like what's like the watch time. Even if you were on the continue watching screen, the timer would still go on technically and shit.
See,
Yeah.
Netflix loves fudging the numbers so they can get that ad money, and that's and to be fair, I don't blame them. They need to do every malicious practice they can because they've had to up their subscriptions so much because they keep getting charged for their
They gave
internet
you
space
text,
or something like that.
But like, imagine where like how far Netflix has come since like what 2010. Shit?
But also how far it's fallen at the same time. It's got
I-
so much more competition now.
I feel like there's a bit. I feel like that's been a good thing though. Look at all the streaming services that we have now because of something like Netflix,
Yeah.
Disney Plus, Hulu, HBO.
I
Well,
think the
like,
only
HBO
ones
Max.
you need are Netflix, Disney, Hulu, HBO, and Paramount. I don't think you should ever need any of the other ones.
I don't know
And
about
Paramount is even one that is like iffy, but it's like when you think about it, Paramount has their hand in a lot of IPs that I didn't know about.
But it's like I don't know. For me personally, there's not a
Nickelodeon
lot
was
of
kind of
Paramount.
floating around in liminal space until they gave themselves a home.
Yeah, and what was that one movie that's coming out on like Paramount? Oh yeah, Halloween. Halloween's coming out on Paramount Plus.
Really?
It is. I thought it was Peacock.
Oh no, because it's owned by
Even what's called maybe
Peacock.
Peacock.
All Universal stuff is going to Peacock.
Gotcha.
Which is really weird and
I
shit.
s-
Well, I
I'll
mean, it
never
makes sense.
buy
It's NBC Universal.
I will never buy an app that requires me to use the word cock when I'm describing something I am using.
This spooky season, I will instead be watching Midnight Mass and not Squid Game, which is
Midnight Mass looks good.
It's directed and written by Mike Flanagan, who did The Haunting of Hill House, which is one of my favorite shows of all time. And he did.
I haven't finished that. I need to finish that for this spooky season.
Fucking.
Y'all want
Oculus and Hush.
Hush is fantastic. You'll love
Dr.
it.
Sleep. So like he's an incredible creator, and I feel like I'm really excited for this show.
Dr. Sleep was.
Dr. Sleep was good for what it was. I mean, for being a sequel to The Shining, I feel like they did.
I did expect a little bit more from it, but I
Yeah.
was overall. I was
the extended
satisfied.
cut. I watched the extended cut. It's actually pretty good. It's almost 3 hours long, but it's worth it because they go a lot deeper.
Have you seen Dr. Sleep?
I have not.
Have you seen The
It's
Shining?
definitely worth.
I have not. All right. So to finish things off, let's go down. One of the biggest parts of aliens, obviously. I was discussing with my roommate the other day, like ancient aliens, and the History Channel is actually opening a new show about that kind of stuff as well.
Really?
which is
Because I've seen a
annoying.
lot of people like.
But it's just conspiracy theorists who are getting paid to pitch bullshit theories about aliens all
You think
day.
the producers and executive guys were just laughing their asses off when they were just watching this? Like,
Sometimes,
this guy's like,
probably.
as like a like they like say that these guys didn't have the best intentions and they just wanted to put a camera on these guys' face and make them just look dumb and shit. Because they could.
They
like,
could. They're like, we're making money off this. It really, like, at the end of the day, it's good for them.
Yeah.
Do you have any conspiracy theories that you brought with you to the table today?
Dude, there's a lot of them I can. Like not that I believe, but like I can, the whole JFK thing. You guys, well, it's like you guys know, like his the conspiracy that I believe that with JFK is that the hit came from within the government and shit.
Interesting.
Because
I love that kind of stuff. 11/22/63 is a great show for that kind of stuff.
Because of like what was gonna happen and shit. Because this guy was a very from the way that JFK talked and shit, like. Everything about this man, he was just intelligent, and he was gonna point I feel like he would have been like the U.S.'s next great leader and shit. But like where he was headed, the other people did not like there were some people who just did not like him. Some for his policies and whatnot. Some having different opinions on like how he handled like the almost pressing the button type shit. And then like
TJ is the only member on this podcast old enough to remember JFK. So.
Back in my day.
we had to walk up both hills, both ways, in the snow, in the rain, during a zombie apocalypse, after
Right,
church.
But was there like evidence behind the fact that it was tied to like inside stuff?
But that's the thing, though, too. Like, it's all just like he said, she said, sort of thing.
If
But that's
you
the one.
wanna-
That's not the one I wanted to talk about. Mine's really fucking niche. Actually,
Well, if you want a good watch about JFK, watch JFK by Oliver Stone. It is about the court case following the assassination and the attorney, the kind of prosecuting attorney in charge. Really interesting. It's an epic 3 hours long, but it's worth it.
yeah.
And then Jackie was really good too because it's about her side of the story.
Well,
But
I know
anyways.
I'm like late, but 11/22/63 was something my brother recommended, and I thought that was a really
I
good
haven't-
JFK story. Like
Yeah.
it's James Franco, and obviously like I missed seeing James Franco after Spider-Man. He just kind of disappeared.
James Franco.
I like that one.
Well,
Spidey.
now what's up? James Franco's like in trouble now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, James Franco is never working again.
Yeah, he's not. No.
What happened this time?
Well,
Isn't
it's based
that-
on the stuff that happened in the accusations in 2017. He basically not like in
Don't
a
say
court,
the
but he
yeah.
basically like said, "Okay, yeah, it's right."
Oh, so he was like allegedly.
He pled the fifth.
so he was like
basically.
allegedly messing with underage women. Was
Not
that it?
underage. It was just he had an acting school, and apparently he would like
hook
make-
up with like
make women uncomfortable.
He was old school Weinsteining it.
yeah, kind
Yeah,
of.
it was more of a Weinstein situation where like he would like lock the door at the classroom. That's why all the memes came out. It's like when you're in James Franco's acting school and then the door locks behind you.
That's a shame, dude. That's a
Yeah.
shame. I don't
But
know.
yeah, no. My conspiracy
actor.
theory that I brought along with me. You guys remember the Conor McGregor and Khabib like whole fiasco where Conor McGregor threw like a trolley at a bus and shattered the glass. It injured a bunch of fighters a couple of days before a big fight. So there's a conspiracy theory that whole thing was actually staged. Because if you look at it, there was so many cameras that were there that just happened to catch it. TMZ was there to capture it all. And in the promotion for Khabib versus Conor, there was a lot of that footage that was used. And usually when scandals like this happens, the UFC does not fucking touch it just because of the bad press. But they use that footage so frequently and stuff like that, and the altercations that came about, like like during it and stuff like
Oh,
that.
I
They
could
use all of it.
totally see that.
But like, what's it like? Connor served like legit jail. Like he spent like I think maybe like a day or two, or maybe even a week in jail and shit. But he served time in jail. Do you think the Dana White? I don't. You're
I
putting
do.
your biggest.
I do, and and I'll tell you why.
Go for it.
I think that, and obviously
biggest
this
star,
so
though.
here's a clip coming in as well. I think the biggest reason they would try to push the marketing so far is because people specifically like Jake Paul and all the the newer fighters are pressuring them, the UFC specifically, like, hey, listen, payments, advertising, all this shit, it ain't up to where it needs to be. And so I feel like they're really trying to go for that shock value, like, let's pull as many eyes as we can to the UFC kind of thing. It's like, let's show off how crazy. It's like WWE used to draw people in for that crazy shenanigans, like,
Yes,
even if it was scripted back then. It's like,
but I feel like
that's what brings people in, the animosity between the two.
Yes,
It's
and I
really
agree
what brings
that
people
the
into a
UFC
fight,
does-
whether they care about fighting or not.
the UFC does do that. I feel like they do, but I don't think that they would sacrifice so much of their like the potential money and stuff like that, because Conor McGregor did serve time in jail and shit, and I feel like, and you brought the Jake Paul numbers and stuff like that. People can talk about the Jake Paul fights or whatever. The UFC, in my opinion, is in very tight grip of the combat entertainment industry.
It holds the entertainment, but it doesn't. The fighters don't get paid well enough.
No, they don't get paid well.
And I feel like a lot of the reason for that is because the advertisement is what their funds go into. And I feel like if the fighters can show, hey, look, I can generate my own outrage that people will want to see, then it's like more of a reason for them to get paid slightly more, because they don't have to put that work on the advertising as much. They don't have to pay for the advertising for the fighters, which is something that the UFC has always done in-house.
Yeah, true. But I don't know, man. I just feel like like that whole entire thing, like just the way they went about it is a little bit fishy though too. They knew and they knew. First of all, you have Conor McGregor, who is the biggest star of MMA of all time. Until the next one's gonna come, and I don't see the next one coming and shit. Yeah. I have like I follow the UFC and fighting. There's a lot of people who resemble Conor. No one's Conor. And then you have Khabib, who basically has all of Russia cheering for him when he fights. That's two big populations and shit. Like that's so much money and like viewership and shit like that. But I was like, that's my conspiracy that I
They
came
could
up
always
with.
be testing a new form of marketing or something.
And it's weird that you say that too, because they scheduled that fight in Dubai, where it's like heavy Khabib crowd and shit, which only generated more money and shit. Dubai is a fucking expensive ass place.
Dubai's
and shit.
beautiful. It's like the most advanced city in that area.
They have cars and shit.
The
on
police
like
cars
60 on the 62nd floor. And
the
shit.
police cars are Lamborghinis.
I hate that so much.
Well, think about it.
Speed for
You can't fucking outrun the police now, can you?
I can't with my Lambo feeties.
I feel like I have two. Well, one theory that kind of goes into another, but one obviously that's interesting to me is how people still believe the moon landing was faked, and how they believe Stanley Kubrick directed the video of the moon landing.
Who the fuck is Stanley Kubrick?
You don't remember Stanley
You don't know
Kubrick?
Stanley Kubrick?
I
Literally directed The Shining.
huh?
But hear me out, okay?
He was a great director in the 90s.
What others? What? I don't know.
There's
I feel like I've heard
there's a
this guy's
theory
name.
that did 2001: A Space Odyssey, The Shining, Full Metal Jacket, Barry
Oh!
Lyndon.
So he's made like a
He-
lot
He's
of
one of the
cult
most
classics.
influential filmmakers of all time. But anyways, they believe that Stanley Kubrick directed the moon landing.
Yeah.
And they also believe that The Shining is a cry for help, and he put subliminal
From
messages
who?
from Stanley Kubrick saying that he faked the moon landing. But then they also believe that The Shining is a message that has a subconscious theme about the plight of the Native Americans. And
They play. Okay, you gotta admit they play that heavy in Doctor Sleep.
As someone who's never seen
Yes and
The
no.
Shining, it's so aside
Yeah,
from
no.
the famous clips, I cannot figure out how you can swing either of those.
no, it's really interesting. So there's a lot of scenes where the kid Danny wears a sweater, and it's Apollo 11 sweater, and it has a rocket ship and stars, and he's like, that's sign number one that he's putting clues in here that he faked the moon landing. But apparently there are these weird connections to different pieces of technology that were used, And because people believe there's no way they brought a camera up into space and filmed the moon landing.
The
And
video
I'm like,
camera, yes. Photography camera, no. Those were shot at Area 51. That's not even a joke. That's genuinely why. That's the biggest argument. The photos look different. It's because they were shot on base at Area 51 because the film gets fucked up when you shoot it in space.
Depends what kind of film and depends how you're processing it.
Right.
How
Well,
you're
the photos
storing
come out blurry and gross. The video, that's why it came out all orangey and like Vaseline-y. That's why they didn't want to take the photos like that. They wanted real good photos they could use for years to come. And that's
Yeah.
why they shot it on base at Area 51. And that's where the conspiracy comes from. But
it. Yeah, and I believe like doing the photos afterwards, that could probably be true. But yeah, so they believe that Stanley Kubrick filmed the moon landing and that The Shining is his cry for help in Hollywood, saying that he's been holding this secret and he needs to come out and tell people, but he can't because there's too many people watching him.
You know, it'd be the best troll ever if that was like his deathbed message. It's just like the moon landing was fake, whether or not it was or not. Like,
Just
the moon
fucking
landing
up
was fake, and I
everyone's
directed
shit.
it. Like that'd be so messed up. But also, like, what are they gonna do? Get mad at him?
What are you gonna do? Kill me?
There's some actual like really weird like interpretations of The Shining, and apparently like
There's a lot
there are
of
groups
them.
of people who watch the movie backwards. Like they do special screenings of the movie backwards, and you get a whole different meaning of the movie. There's this documentary and it's called Room 213, and it's like
I've heard of that.
it's about all the conspiracy theories about the movie, and that documentary was creepier than the movie itself. Like it freaked me out. It was very unsettling seeing like how people are picking this movie apart. But I think it's just about the more you deep dive into that movie and the imagery, the more unsettling it becomes.
I feel like a lot of people, because I've seen like and heard like these theories about The Shining and stuff, I think a lot of people have a little bit of confirmation bias and stuff about this.
Yeah, no,
about this
and they
movie.
also have too much time on their hands.
Not even too much. I just think that like, I think like the imagery and shit just from that movie alone, like people feel granted to look deeper than it really, really is and whatnot though too. You know, it's kind of like when people look at the Joker, like, oh, it's so like he's so deep, and as like deep as a character he is, like he's still a fucking psychopath at the end of the day. This is not like, this isn't a character no one's supposed to be fucking admiring and shit.
Yeah.
This dude's a mass murderer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to wrap it up, let's get Victory's conspiracy theory.
Geez, there's a lot of conspiracy theories over the past few years that I have like, delved my mind and head into. One of my favorites, and one that happens to actually be relevant, actually topical even, which is I think this is the first time it's ever been topical ever. I think the freezing of Walt Disney.
Oh.
The conspiracy that Walt Disney was frozen in cryostasis to be unfrozen later on. Apparently, according to an article, they're planning to unfreeze him next year.
I wonder how smelling that corpse is going to be.
Yeah, so it's like once he inevitably just flops over on the ground, like, or if it works,
If it works, bro,
Disney's gonna hate this modern America. His company is run by a Jewish man, I believe, and I don't think he'll be very happy.
Walt
about
Disney
that.
was a
there's colored
raging
peop-
anti-Semite.
Bro, there's colored people in his fucking parts and shit. He's not happy about that.
I think nobody has thought about that yet.
Superheroes.
But if he is if they did freeze him and they do plan on unfreezing him, I think this is the worst kept secret on Earth.
No, you know what? You know what they need to do as soon as he gets out? They need to show him that Captain America's black now.
No, there was a video.
He just comes
about,
out.
like,
He's like, what?
Show him the cast of the live action Lion King.
yeah, there you go.
Oh my god, I want to. This will freeze this man now.
Yeah. No, and it's interesting because there's a meme video, but it was like, what would really happen if Captain America was unfrozen, right?
It's the same thing as if Walt Disney was unfrozen.
Exactly.
essentially.
And it's funny because you realize, oh God, Captain America's racist and sexist. He can't believe that there's like a female like doctor in taking care of him, and you think about it like, I feel
Bro,
like,
imagine Captain America, female construction workers. What?
So if this does
Confusion.
work, right? If he does unthaw and it works, what does this mean for people? Like, what does this mean for us?
Dude, that's a lot of money though to get cryogenically frozen.
I
and
know,
shit.
but what does that mean as a society? It's like, dude, we successfully froze and unfroze a human. Like, sure, he won't live very long if he does live,
But
but
like, what if that's the thing though? What if he does? Like, what if like he froze himself at a time where like he was perfectly fine at whatever age he was at, and then like he just continues on and shit.
I mean, Disney being the company that they are, they have the money to pull it off. It's like it's one of those things where it's like
the Imagineers unveil their latest form of trickery. Resurrection.
Can you imagine like where that statue of like Walt Disney and Mickey is in the park? It's just they replace it with just his frozen ice block slowly melting over time, and it's just like
That would be terrifying.
With Mickey Mouse
he's
coming
loose!
out later.
He's loose.
It's like Jurassic Park.
He's unthawed! He's unthawed!
What the fuck are the Mexicans doing in my park? He's just running around painting swastikas everywhere, and he's like,
Why are there women working for me? Oh,
no, but I feel I would
Everybody
love
hide your
to
Jews.
see I would love to see the outcome if that were to come to fruition.
Oh my
But
God, bro.
Let me tell you, it's just not possible.
let's put the people who like think that everyone's racist and put them in a room with him and just like be in a room with an actual racist and shit.
Oh, brother.
My God, dude!
Yeah.
Today's been a great podcast.
today
This
has been an
Very
awesome.
interesting
Right.
conspiracy theory.
Oh
I
my
think.
God! I honestly, but what's got if there's any one I would actually put my money on, it's that one.
I do.
Yeah, I feel like-
do really want to see them attempt to unfreeze Walt Disney live on camera.
What if it's like nothing like too fantastic? It's just like a couple of dudes with some blowtorches just slowly going at it, and it's
This
just
one like
the
live
shit.
leak.
It's they have a schedule of
It's like
people
the, it's
to
like
come
the, it's
work
like the
in
Apple
and
Music
just do it.
Donda stream. It's just a stream of people slowly unfreezing Walt Disney.
It's just a room where 6 people hang out. There's a little small speaker that's playing and shit.
And then
it's
he
all
just
chill.
flops over dead, and they're like, "Well,
Like,
it didn't
The most
work."
anticlimactic thing ever.
You're just dead on the floor.
It's true.
See, Disney uses stormtroopers to do their bidding.
We all
That's
know
why-
where
that's why they-
where
that's why they got Star
Stormtroopers
Wars.
came from.
Oh my god.
Oh my God! What if he resurrects and puts on the Darth Vader outfit and commands all the
Darth
employees?
Kaiser Disney.
Oh my
Now
God!
that's my conspiracy theory.
Ooh,
And then they bring back iWorks, and it's just Disney versus iWorks. God, actually, I know.
And then Then they bring back the old Jungle Cruise ride, the one with all the racist stuff.
He goes, "Where's my favorite ride? Where's Song of the South?
They're like,
Oh my!
sir, that movie is not in our catalog anymore.
Bullshit, it's not."
I love so iWorks was one of the head. He literally essentially was the first person to animate Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
And I know his daughter Leslie because she's a documentary filmmaker, and I've met her a couple times at the San Luis Obispo Film Festival. And it's funny hearing
Wait,
the
hold
story.
up. So you have all these fucking connections, and there's just
This man's doing a podcast with us.
No.
I feel like you rubbed a lot of shoulders with a lot of people in Hollywood.
Well, when you live in California, I feel like it's almost inevitable.
My dad
Yeah.
peed next to John Cusack.
Who the fuck is John Cusack?
don't know who
I
John
think your
Cusack
dad
is?
should have turned a little bit to the left
Say
or
any-
right, just
say
to make that
anything,
story a little more
Guy holding a
interesting.
big boombox over his head.
Oh, he's the guy.
If your father
simp?
turned left or right, he would have had an even better story. Would have been I pissed on
all-
John Cusack.
All he did is he just peeing next to him and just said, "Hey."
You're the guy that held up the boombox in that one movie. Yeah, that's me. Simp.
My mom would park right across from the director of The Princess Bride every day when she went to work.
That's insane.
I don't even like the Princess Bride. So.
Princess Bride's a good movie.
Good movie. Have you ever seen Misery?
I live in misery, buddy.
I was gonna say like
I
Misery.
live in misery. Anyways,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot about
Is
that.
that
fucking
song about
I was thinking
about
Misery.
the state or the feeling?
both. They're one in the same.
Uh,
No, but the movie Misery, the Stephen King movie, is directed by the same guy who did The Princess Bride.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And Spinal Tap. If you've never seen Spinal Tap, give it a watch. Best mockumentary about a fake rock band that you'll ever see.
Even more better than that. What's the word? The one with Lonely Island.
Oh, Popstar?
Yeah.
Fucking love that movie.
I
God.
haven't seen it. Is it generally funny? Because
Oh,
I feel like
it's so good.
I feel like there's a lot of comedies and shit like nowadays. That,
It is.
like, I just can't hold my
it's
attention.
genuinely. It hits all the best points about what's wrong with music.
Although there's a new Dave Chappelle special out.
Hey,
Really?
actually, we need to talk about this. We need to
Dude.
talk about Dave Chappelle.
I haven't watched it yet, and I have a little bit left.
Do you want to know? Do you want to know a shocker? Here's a real blockbuster.
Morgan Freeman's in the commercial.
No, Dave Chappelle's canceled.
bullshit.
Because he defended J.K. Rowling.
Oh.
Wait, hold up.
But
You
I
can't
don't-
cancel Dave Chappelle.
Is
You
that
can't.
in this
You
special?
can't.
he's literally being,
No, you can't.
I
You're
haven't
not gonna
seen
be
it.
able to.
Apparently, he declared himself a TERF.
A what?
You know what a TERF is?
No.
Okay.
Isn't that a British term? for like conservative? Isn't that like what you call British conservatives?
Okay.
No,
So
that's
like
a
I've heard-
Tory. That's a Tory.
is a feminist who excludes the rights of transgender women from their advocacy of women's rights. So I need to see the special for myself, but from what I read of the transcript,
Dave has had issues with the trans community in the
Yeah.
past. I really doubt that he would cross them again.
I think
No, what?
from what I read
It's
in the
because he's
transcript,
Dave Chappelle. He'll cross them
Yeah.
again, bro.
But to the point where it won't consider their rights.
he's talking about how it was unfair to cancel J.K. Rowling, and he starts going on a rant about biologically everyone's one gender, and it doesn't make sense that you would want to be another one or something like that. So the transgender community is very upset at Dave Chappelle and all
well,
of
they've
their
been
allies.
upset with him
They've
for
always
like
been
years.
Yeah, no, but this is the line that was crossed.
That's fair. Where is it on, and what is the name of the
Netflix.
special?
Closer.
So I'm
Closer?
interested. I want to give it a watch and see for myself like what the context of what he's talking about is, because it's easy to read a transcript and just be caught off guard. From what I read, I'm kind of like, that's
Yeah, but like
Dave's
here's
big
the
on his
thing.
delivery.
Here's what I will say about this: people who go to his shows specifically to write down the jokes and shit and to put them specifically out of context. Fuck those people.
Yeah.
There's probably what you probably
That's
read
why Pete
online and
Davidson
shit.
doesn't allow shit like that at his shows.
No,
And
no.
people
What's
get
up?
on his
Pete
ass all
Davidson-
the time.
What's up? Pete Davidson is just I can get his comedy. It just doesn't flow very well.
He hasn't done enough specials for
No, he's
to
probably
really
done,
show
like,
off how
3.
good he is. He's really, really good. But like the last
That's-
special that came out was like the
SM
only good show off that he's done yet. So
See,
far.
I mean, what's up? SMD was the even better one. The one where like the recent one where like he recently broke up with Ariana
yeah,
Grande.
that's a really good special by him.
I don't know, bro. That just came off as just sad and just like just angry and shit.
Really?
It did for me and stuff, just because of just, I guess the body language and stuff like that. But it's
Well, he's just an awkward-looking human, body language-wise.
Yeah, but, like,
I
you
love
can't-
Pete Davidson as a person and as a
he just doesn't give a
celebrity.
fuck, which I love about him. He just smokes weed and just goes about his day as a celebrity and shit. But no, I do think it was like with the they're just gonna. Dave's always gonna have something to say about that community
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But I do think again.
Yeah.
I
So
wanna
before we
see-
start a turf war, I
Yeah.
think it's
Whoa!
I think it's important that we get ready to wrap up here. So is there anything else you guys want to say?
No, I'm good.
Good. All right, then
Nope.
let's do our plugs and wrap it up for the day. So TJ, do you want to go first?
All right, TJ TEEJAY Tutasi on Instagram, TUTASI. Venom season coming out. Shout out to Venom for providing that fucking shit. Those awesome gloves and shin guards and whatnot. Pay us.
I like how he says it like he was sponsored.
What's up? They're going to have sponsor and shit. If I keep up tagging their shit, and then I'm just gonna bother them and shit. And it's like, I use your products, and I have a podcast. Help me out.
All right, so my plug today will be a male end extension cord.
That's good.
No,
I need
good
to leave
old.
after that.
Just the usual super image LTD and intentional lens flare. Nothing really new coming out. We had a delay in the release of my short just because the entire internet broke with the social medias. So we're delaying
I forgot we didn't talk about that.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll talk
We're
about it next week.
delaying till next week for the official promotion of it. But it is available on Vimeo on Demand.
Can we
which
get
you
the
can find
title
in
in
the
the
link
description?
in my bio. Yeah, Becoming Rich on Vimeo on Demand. You can get it now.
I have the Blu-ray. I've had the Blu-ray, and it's quite fun of a watch. I still need to get you to sign the disc as well. But anyways, and of course, the Morning Madness podcast can be found on multiple platforms. We are available on 7 platforms, but specifically, most importantly, you can find us on Spotify, Anchor, and Apple Podcasts, as well as YouTube for the video podcast here at VictoryTGH on YouTube. You can also find me at VictoryTGH on YouTube, as well as Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And without further ado, we thank you for waking up with us on this beautiful podcast. Stay safe, don't get abducted, and we will see you guys next week, next morning.
Adios.
Bye.
Peace.